Hey, good morning. Welcome to Rise and Grind Morning Show. My name is Will Rock with Rockdown Podcast Network and Rockdown Detroit Lions. How's everybody doing today? So today during the stream, we have a special event. We're going to hit our 1 millionth view if we haven't already today. So big shout out to the channel, right? We finally hit the million, and now we're on to 5 million. That's our next goal, and we'll probably hit that in the next year and a half is our guess here. So congratulations to our channel and everybody that's been a part of it for being such a big help. And I can't appreciate you guys enough, but I do. And I thank you guys. And you know who you are. So today we're going to be talking about some news and rumors this morning. It will not be a very long show today. Like I said, I really didn't plan on coming on this morning. I have a lot to do today. And with having the millionth view, I kind of had to. I had to celebrate it with everybody. So this morning, I came across Tyler Boyd rumors last night. Now, he's somebody that was talked about the last 4 to 6 weeks, and some more heat picked up last night on the subject. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Tyler Boyd and then the annual Greg Cosell analyzation of the Lions draft class. So I wanted to read through that today too, and just kind of get everybody up to speed with kind of what's happening. What are people thinking about this draft class? Not that it's not too early, because it is too early to really grade the draft. So shout out to Mike P. Hey, Mike P, it's kind of weird, man. I had you like resubscribe to the channel, so I don't know what happened there. Just want to make sure we don't have doubling accounts where we have people faking accounts trying to be somebody. So let me know that it's you. Obviously, you'll know what happened this past weekend. But good morning to everybody. Donovan Amos, Donkey Kong, Casey, Mike P, Rick, Eric Rintamaki, Michael Jordan, Tracy, Nasty Man 88. All right, so let's get rolling. Boyd, let's talk about Tyler Boyd for a minute. Is there any room in this wide receiver room? And I think I'm going to start with what Brad Holmes said. Now, he didn't select a receiver in this draft because unless they played special teams, there really wasn't room for somebody to make this roster. And I found that interesting. I mean, obviously he wants guys that are going to play and do whatever's asked of them. And playing special teams is a very critical role for young guys trying to make a roster. But that tells me, maybe this wide receiver room is already full and they expect the guys that are in that room are going to make this roster, or at least the 5 or 6 or even possibly 7 guys that they keep this year. I don't think it would go past 6, but we'll see. I mean, obviously the after training camp and during cuts, you have the practice squad where some of these guys might find their way, back onto the team. So it's an interesting conversation. It's one that I kind of poo-pooed in the past because I never expected Tyler Boyd and all the rumors and, certain people saying that he was coming to Detroit. It just wasn't true back then. So now after the draft, there's a little bit more heat to this, and it's because of what was reported. So Boyd finished his rookie deal with the Bengals, and then the Bengals re-signed him to a 4-year deal, $43 million extension back in 2019. He played that deal out, and he's now testing unrestricted free agency for the first time in his career. I believe he's played, 8 seasons now in the NFL. Pro Football Network's Adam Kaplan said that the former Bengals wide receiver, Tyler Boyd, intended to wait until after the draft to sign with the team. So there was never any intention prior to the draft for him to ever find a team that was willing to give him a good enough contract option. So during free agency, obviously Boyd was seeking a deal that was at least $9 million per season, which is a big number, at least $9 million a year for being a third rotational guy. So that price reportedly has come down, which would make him more attractive, especially when you look at, his production is pretty solid, especially understanding that he's been a third rotational guy on the Bengals roster. So there were 6 teams that were showing interest in the past and have kind of resurfaced with one team throwing their hat in the ring. So that was the Steelers, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Dolphins. And now the Vikings and the Lions are considered to be teams that are positioned to potentially bring Boyd in at least for a meeting and then see, where it goes from there. The one report, because he was speaking with the Steelers quite extensively early in the offseason, that ship has probably already sailed, primarily because he was seeking a contract that was so high, kind of broke off communications and the length of conversations between the teams and the agent. And this was reported by Mark Caboli in the last couple of days here. Boyd is one of the top free agents still remaining for wide receivers. It's a pretty long list, actually. And he showed last year that he still has quite a bit left in the tank. He caught a 67 pass season for 667 yards and a pair of touchdowns to go along with that. Again, as the Bengals number 3, which is pretty solid. I mean, that's better than Josh Reynolds' numbers. So, and it's also very similar numbers in his career to Curtis Samuel, who signed a 3-year, $24 million deal, and Marquise Brown, who signed a 1-year, $7 million deal. Both of those guys, they kind of line up well when it comes to statistical analysis that I did this morning. Is he worth $7 to $9 million? Probably. Is he going to fetch that in a deal? He could, for a team that really needs, a wide receiver right now. I wouldn't say the Lions are a team that really need a wide receiver at this point. We brought in Isaiah Williams as a UDFA, and he, in my opinion, is kind of that dark horse right away to make this roster in some capacity. Detroit does have Jameson Williams, who the club obviously drafted in the first round of the 2022 NFL draft. The issue with him, though, has been injuries, the gambling. It really were severely limited his playing time. And the Lions are hoping he may finally break through here in 2024, but it's unproven. We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Jameson this year. It's kind of a crapshoot, but I'm leaning, that he's going to do well. That's what I'm hoping for. The Lions could definitely use some wide receiver depth behind Amon-Ra St. Brown and also laterally to Amon-Ra St. Brown. When you think of the player that we lost in Josh Reynolds, somebody that has been, a leader in that room, right? He someone that helped develop that room. And in my opinion, now that dynamic is shifted now to a different player. But I think that you lose somebody like that. You kind of need somebody like that, someone that's a veteran in the league that can help some of these younger guys. And we're going to probably be leaning on Amon-Ra too. But there's no doubt that having a veteran presence in any locker room is needed. And he's, been to the playoffs, Super Bowl appearance. So he knows what it takes to get there. But after a couple, or rather uneventful seasons to begin his career, though, talking about Tyler Boyd again, he started to break out in 2018. He caught 76 balls for just over 1,000 yards, 7 scores. And then he followed that up with hauling 90 catches in for, again, just over 1,000 yards while reaching the end zone 5 times in 2019. The only thing about Boyd here is he has not touched the end zone he's not touched the a season with 1,000 yards in a single season since then. He's registered over 800 yards twice. Most recently performing in 2021 where he totaled 828 yards. Now last year he brought in 667. 2022 he brought in 762. So I mean they're not bad seasons. Averaging over 10 yards a catch, an explosive receiver. I mean, he's got longs of 64, 60, 68, 72, 47. So he can definitely spread the field. That's what I like about Tyler Boyd is he's 6'2", right around 201, 202, somewhere in that range. So he's a wide body, lengthy. He's someone that can spread the field. He can fit into that Josh Reynolds role. He can be the field stretcher that we've been missing on this team for a while now. Josh Reynolds kind of filled that role. Now we have DPJ, though, that's supposed to kind of step up, right? DPJ is supposed to kind of step up into that role, bigger body. Someone who definitely filled out in the offseason. Can he put it all together this season? and show the Lions why, they brought him in. Tyler Boyd's just 29 years old. So it's not like he's extremely old, especially when you compare him to other players like Josh Reynolds, who's also in the same age bracket. I think that he would fill the shoes nicely of an elder statesman of a wide receiver room that Reynolds kind of left behind. My only worry here, this really isn't a worry, but we're going to say it anyway, is that this is Amon-Ra St. Brown's room. This is his room now. He's earned it. He's obviously the highest paid. He has to show his leadership, and his leadership needs to be on display now and take control of this room and be the identity for this room. The way that he works is the way that they should work, and they should all work together the same. I do feel the Lions, if they were to bring someone in like Tyler Boyd, though, he does understand this, right? He gets it. He's been the third guy, the third wheel with the Bengals basically his entire career. So he understands that. I think that sometimes egos obviously can get in the way. Players try to one up each other, and that can lead to locker room issues. And obviously we know Dan Campbell's having none of that. That's not going to fly in the Detroit Lions locker room. But what I like about Boyd, like I said a minute ago, is that he has been that third role. He gets it. He understands it. I wouldn't expect any of that from Tyler Boyd. He's actually pretty quietly confident person. He's not overspoken, doesn't get in a ton of trouble, or anything, doesn't create a lot of rah-rah around his, his energy. So is he a fit? Money's got to be the fit here. The Lions only have maybe 10 million or less left in draft, in cap space after they sign all these rookies, and more than likely probably 7 million or less. So there could be a few deals that they could, restructure. Frank Ragnow was a deal that was on the board a couple months ago. They were talking about restructuring. You have a potential extension coming to Jared Goff and Taylor Decker, which could add some more draft is still on my mind, some more cap space to the Lions wallet. So there's plenty of room for them to make money appear if they need to. Right now, they just don't have a bucket load. And obviously their first goal is signing these rookies. So with all that said, what do you guys think about Tyler Boyd? He's got the stats. He's not extremely old. He'll probably, in my opinion, cost around that $7 million per season. I don't think it's going to be much, less than $9 million, but $7 million is doable when you look at the contracts that were recently signed. Now, Josh Reynolds, his deal was reported to be $7 million a season. I just checked, and it's more like 4.5. So if we could snag somebody like Boyd between 4.5 and 7 million, I would be ecstatic. I just, a couple of months ago, 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, there was nothing happening here with the Lions. Now that the draft is done, and this is where Tyler Boyd wants to find his fit, is with a team that has room for him. That's where the conversation kind of starts now. And we'll see where it leads. From a room fitment, I'd say it's great. It's a great room fitment. From a financial fitment, not great. Do we need another wide receiver? I'm 50-50 on it. I don't see the room here, but we have to see what's going to happen. Is DPJ going to step up? Is Jameson Williams going to step up? Who's going to step up in this room next to Amon-Ra St. Brown? And we won't know until camp. So what happens between now and camp? The Lions usually end up taking a gamble on somebody, calculated, educated gamble on somebody that can come in throughout the training camp season, obviously have a contract that is savvy enough that, if they get cut, at 53, maybe they only get $1 million for the summer or something like that, but they're not going to be stuck with a bunch of dead cap. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Let me get to your questions and statements here this morning. Donovan Amos says JMO has to step up. I believe in that. I really do. I think that this is JMO's season. This is the no excuse season for AG. It's also the no excuse season for Jameson Williams. And I'll stand up and say that proudly and loudly all season long, because there's been a lot of talk about Jameson Williams being this, prophet in the wide receiver room, and it just hasn't panned out. I want to see more. His career kind of got, a little funny there in the beginning because the injury obviously was expected, but the gambling thing, I felt that really derailed his second season where we would have saw JMO just kind of jump out the box, man. And this is his season, so I'm hoping for it. Michael Jordan says, boy, it would be a great fit for around 4 to 6 years. I'm in the same boat as you. Peter Van Larhoven, what are the draft picks going to cost us? So not as much as what, some have thought. So you got to keep in mind that the last, few seasons, we've been picking up in the top 10, typically, or 12, really, top 12, and sometimes 2 rookies in the first round. So that cost us more like $18 million a season to sign all the rookies. This year, I reported, about 4 weeks before the draft started that it would only cost us about $12 million. So I'm going to stick to that number. And it might be a little bit more now because Brad Holmes moved up so many times, and I have not analyzed the rookie deals since I made that video, or, we had that conversation about 4 weeks ago. So I'm going to stick to 12 million. It could be a little bit more, but maybe not a whole lot more. And right now, I think we're sitting right about 26, 27 million in cap space. So we just don't have a ton. And you have to have a kitty, right? You have to have that emergency fund in case you have to pick somebody up due to injury. So I don't see where Brad Holmes is going to waste the kitty just yet. Michael Jordan says we could also use him next year for draft capital. Yeah, if we were to sign him to a multiple year deal, maybe a 2-year deal, or even a 3-year deal that's really savvy on the Lions' behalf, you could have an opportunity. But then, 3 years, he's 32 years old, 2 years, he's 31. Is he going to be on the wrong side of 30? I think that depends on the success that he has with whatever team that he joins, and whether they, give him a 2-year deal. Or is Tyler Boyd now in the ring hunt conversation? Is he somebody that wants to just get single-year deals now the rest of his career so that he can get that ring? Man, he's put the time in. Like he's really gutted it out being a third wheel guy. It's time for him to win one, right? I mean, he's been an excellent wide receiver. He's been sitting kind of, backseat to everything going on. And now he wants to win something. And the Lions would be a perfect opportunity because I feel like the Lions have a great shot at going all the way this season. It's just super hard to get back, right? Full State Farms. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Good morning. Just seen Wingo turn 21 a few weeks ago. Ton of upside. Yeah, I'm excited about Wingo. Roger Tapas, got your email last night. Thank you. Agreed. This is the year for JMO to break out. Has been working hard in the offseason to raise his game. What else we got in here? Ostis 4-2. To me, DPJ seemed out of shape and slow. I didn't see anything to show me he's a returner or speed guy. I don't know if I saw enough out of DPJ last year. He did bulk up this year, which means is he going to be even slower? To your point, we'll see in camp. I plan to be there for 2 weeks, and we'll see what everyone's looking like. I'm going to try to earn my spot on the field there and see if I can't work my way into that room, at least just to give us content. Not so much writing every single day, which maybe I will. I don't know. Peter Van Larhoven, do you think the Lions will upgrade at swing tackle, or are we done? Interesting question. I will say this, based on the conversation that we are going to have, and by the way, this is probably a great opportunity for me to let everybody know this. So Giovanni Manu's recruiter in British Columbia and former coach will be joining the podcast. So we're going to get the inside scoop about Giovanni Manu. And we're also working, the team behind the team, right, is also working on getting Giovanni Manu himself to join us for a show. They might both come on together. They might both be separate. We're not sure yet. We're still waiting to get the answer back on that. Give it a couple of days. We'll be able to firm something up hopefully here soon. But it'll be interesting at least to get the inside scoop from the recruiter that recruited him, that has watched all of his tape. Eric Rintamaki yesterday had sent me some interesting clips It was the Dallas Cowboys breakdown of Giovanni Manu. And I guess when I watched the beginning of it, sorry to go off on a tangent here, but I have to, because when I watched the beginning of it, it was all, kind of forward thinking that Manu was a bust, that he was a nothing and nobody. And then the tape, the video kind of turned into like, this guy's got it. Like, oh my God, you know what? I got to show you guys this picture of Manu. I got to show you this picture. When I saw this picture, I was like, good Lord. You want to talk about a man, like, I mean, the dude is massive. When I say a massive human, I mean it. And it's not just because he's a football player. I got to find, I knew I should have saved it last night. I got to find it again. So I found this picture of Giovanni. Oh, here it is. All right, how can I show you guys this? That might be the biggest I can make it. All right, here we go. Just look at this dude's side profile, and you tell me, I mean, how much strength do you see here? Just look at that dude's side profile. I don't see a ton of fat on this guy. He's got a little bit of a belly. He's got to have some weight on him, right? I mean, he has to put the weight on. So what, 352 pounds, and you don't see a giant barreled belly. Look at those thighs on this dude. Like, you're talking tree trunks for thighs. I'm excited about Manu. I'm really excited about Manu. Like, this guy is looking like he is going to be the next Sewell, and I hate to even make that comparison, because Sewell is a one of one. He's a one, always be a one of one. But when I compare body types, he looks like a Sewell to me. Like, Sewell's a big dude, and he doesn't really have any fat on him. I mean, we've seen him go out as tight end and make a catch, and with nimble feet. Manu, I haven't seen him make a catch yet, but the guy looks like he's just built different, right? Built different. That's what I see about this guy. I'm super excited. Super excited. Casey says Manu and Skipper will declare eligible. I wish they'd get rid of that damn rule. I really do. I'll tell you what, I'll be excited to get Manu's autograph, man. I can't wait. I think he's interesting. So let me pull this off the screen. So last night, after having some conversations with the team behind the team here, I got really deep off into Tongan culture last night till like 2 a.m. So yeah, I didn't get much sleep for today. I just couldn't let it go. First, I took a nap yesterday. I was exhausted. I never take naps. So I took a nap. So I was up, and I started going off into Tongan culture, man. And I was playing the Tongan chants, and I want to get prepared for Manu. So if we get Manu on, I think that we're probably 70-30 that it'll happen. I want to know about his culture. Like, I want to respect his culture, and I want him to know that we care, that we want to do it the right way. And of course, I want to ask him some questions about it and what it means to him, and what it means, to have another player like Penei Sewell that has very similar culture. And there's differences, obviously, but similar, right? Polynesian descent. So interesting stuff. Look, Manu, I'm excited. I think that Brad Holm might have hit it out the park on this one. It's a little early to tell. I think this summer camp is going to tell us a lot. Exactly, Michael Jordan. He's built like a tight end or a defensive tackle, defensive end. The guy looks like he's nimble. So we're going to break into tape today and get through a lot of it. I think this could be a very, very interesting summer. So to answer your question, sorry, Peter, to answer this long answer here, I don't think we need one. I don't. Doesn't mean we won't bring in camp bodies. So let me check the roster limit here. Last I checked, we still had 4 or 5 positions open. So Over the Cap is reporting Oh, wait, I see some rookies on here. All right, so Over the Cap is reporting 72. And what did we pull in? 14 or 10 UDFAs? I can't remember now. By the way, undrafted all the undrafted free agent videos are going to start dropping today. We're going to take some time. Like I said, we're going to dive into tape. And I'm starting with Manu. I think Manu's going to be the first one. So Lions undrafted tracker here. We brought in. Oh, I don't like that list. Let me get the other one. So we brought in Kingsley Egukun, center out of Florida, James Turner, kicker out of Michigan, Isaiah Williams, wide receiver, Illinois. That dude's going to be a spark. Isaac Ukwu, defensive end, Ole Miss. Steel Chambers, linebacker, Ohio State. I think you guys are going to love this guy. Obviously, you know that I did at one point there. Hogan Hayden, Isaac Rex, tight end, another dude that we're going to love. Duke Clemens, Jelon Calhoun, Chalon Garnes, Deron Gilbert, Brian Hudson, Nate Lynn, Morris Norris, and Lauren Strickland. So 15 guys. So that means that the Lions currently have 3 positions open on the roster. Just 3. That's it. So with only 3 positions left on the roster, to answer your question, Peter, do we have room? You know, I don't think that we're going to have room by the time the UDFA signings are all set and done, but we did pick up some UDFAs that could fit into that swing tackle role, and we'll just see how it works out in camp. I think the Lions are going to probably go a little bit deeper on offensive line this year and retain more guys, more bodies, because of what we experienced last year. Last year, they slimmed down from 10 on the 53, I think, to 8 on the 53. And we saw an immediate need. Like, we are scrambling for guys after all the injuries. So I think they're going to go back to 10, keeping 10 offensive linemen. That'll be my early prediction for the 53-man roster. Obviously, this year, I'm going to do it right, make sure I get my predictions out early, try to get it out a little bit earlier than everybody else. I'm just a little bit slower when it comes to the writing because I'm not doing it as much anymore. Brent Lighton says Isaiah Williams could learn to be St. Brown's backup. He could. Isaiah Williams is interesting. The dude is, I mean, he finished second, in yards in the Big Ten to Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's not like it's easy to do. I mean, that's pretty tough to catch 1,000 yards. I don't care what division you're in. Tyler Boyd there, Brent. Tyler Boyd, wide receiver, former Bengal, currently unrestricted free agent. Who Casey says, I met the King of Tonga in the late 90s in Oakland. I worked for a music company and Tonga had a brass band. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, DPJ, Sam H, he is rocked up, man. DPJ has definitely added some bulk. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Hey, Walt, good morning. Steel Chambers could be the Pittman replacement. So that's what we're thinking right now. Go watch his tape. If you guys haven't watched any of these guys' tape, I would suggest just going to YouTube, clicking highlights. I'm not going to do many highlight videos anymore. I mean, I will, but we're going to attack it a little bit differently. They won't be monetized. I'm not even going to waste my time with it. We're just going to do them, put it together, and have it be part of the free content that comes with memberships and that. Only because it takes a lot of time to put it together, 3-4 hours to put one 10-minute video together. It's a lot of work for 10 minutes. And it just takes a lot of time away from being consistent doing these things and putting out regular videos. So, all right, let's talk about the rest of this year. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a short morning. So I wanted to talk next about Greg Cosell here. So every year, Greg Cosell will analyze the Lions draft class. Okay. And this year was no different, except he didn't go as deep this year. He kind of did like what I did the other day. I just went kind of like, did the first three of every team, the draft class when I did the NFC North on Sunday night. I just kind of did the first three of every team. He kind of did the same thing for the Lions. Not sure why, but this is like one of the first times I've seen him only do that. All right, give me 2 seconds here. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so this article put out by Tim Twentyman, man, he's on his game this year. Tim's gonna be a happy cat this year, man. He's got a lot of great guys to work with again. But I'll just read through this article. I think it's the best way to do this here. I'll throw it up on the screen if you'd like, and we'll roll through it. All right. So Greg Cosell analyzes the Lions 2024 draft class. This was just put out this morning at 7 a.m. Very interesting read here. So executive producer and analyst for the NFL Matchup and senior producer at NFL Films, Greg Cosell, has been kind enough to break down the Lions draft class for the DetroitLions.com in each of the past 11 seasons, and he agreed to do it again for a 12th. Cosell's opinions are based on countless hours of watching film and evaluating these prospects. He is one of the most honest evaluators in the business and is well respected among NFL circles. You guys can go follow him on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Greg Cosell. Here's what he had to say about the Lions 2024 draft class. And then, like I said, they noted here that he's only doing 3 of the Detroit 6 picks. All right, so we're going to start off with cornerback Terrion Arnold, Alabama, round 1, number 24 overall. This is what Cosell had to say. Arnold is one of the better corner prospects in the 2024 draft class, with the 2023 tape showing a high-level traits athlete who played the position with comfort and poise, especially in press man, where his mirror match ability consistently showed up. If you guys don't know what mirror match ability really means, it's, he's matching what the wide receiver is doing. If the receiver's going left, he's going left. If the receiver's going right, he's going right. If the receiver's breaking down, he's breaking down. So he's trying to mirror and then match exactly what the wide receiver does to stay hip to hip, especially in press man coverage. And Arnold is one of the best at doing that. So Arnold was a mirror match master, showing quick, light, deceptively sudden feet and movement with smooth, fluid hips that allowed for easy transition and change of direction. And what always stood out in press man was he played controlled and poised, rarely getting out of phase or losing contact with the receiver. This is huge, because if this shows up this year, we got a good one. So if we can translate what he's been doing in college level to now the NFL level, we got a guy that's going to stay sticky. He's going to be able to run downfield, with just about anybody. He's got decent speed. Excuse me. And if he can utilize his mirror match ability in staying within phase, and when you define being in phase, this is kind of what it means. A defender is in good position, is all it really means. You're in good position with the receiver. You're not too far off. You want to stay within a half of an arm's length, as some coaches like to say. Your elbow needs to be kind of where their chest is if you were to extend your arm, because that way, you can obviously knock the ball away. Does that make sense? So that's what phase means. And we'll move on here. So rarely getting out of phase or losing contact with the receiver. The tape showed that Arnold at this point is more comfortable playing mirror match press than he is playing off coverage. I think that's great. But we did see a lot of off man coverage last year. And I think that was because we didn't have press man corners. I think that was the real reason. But that will likely come with coaching and experience at the next level. So what they're saying here is obviously Arnold's going to have a lot to learn with playing off man. He's got to transition now to learning a different technique, and it's a different speed to the game. If you're standing still and someone's running right at you, you've got to learn, when do I need to start my feet so that I can be in good mirror match phase with that receiver, right? So it's different. He likes to stay sticky with these guys off the jump. So anyway, the tape show that Arnold at this point is more comfortable playing mirror match press than he is playing off coverage, but that will likely come with coaching and experience at the next level. Arnold also gives a defense versatility with his experience and ability to move inside and play the slot, which he did at Alabama on numerous occasions. That's excellent. What you love about Arnold is his willingness to play the run and tackle with physical toughness and competitiveness, never backing away or playing soft, but rather looking to embrace the needed contact with proactive aggression. I love that, man. So what a amazing breakdown here of Terrion Arnold. So if I were to break it down, in kind of what he just said here, we got a good one, obviously. The fact that he stays proactive about the way that, he's going to come up and make contact in the box, that's big. So he's not going to put himself, in harm's way with potential injury concerns where he's just coming up, trying to make a hit. He's calculating how he's going to make this hit. He's staying physical. He's accepting and willing to come in and make contact. So I think that's something we'll be looking for this season. Is it going to translate to the NFL? Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. He's just got to be in the right spot at the right time. Obviously, the big thing here is getting your head in the right area and playing head up football so he doesn't get injured here. Cornerback Ennis, I keep saying that. Ennis Rakestraw. Ennis Rakestraw. Let me put this back up here. What do you guys got to say here on Arnold? So Tracy says, I cannot wait to see Arnold play this season. JDC says, Lions had a lot of prevent you from winning defense in the past, that is. Yeah, we won't have much of that. I mean, we still will. We could have seen that prevent come out a little bit more in the NFC title game. I wish I would have seen it more then. Honestly, we got way too aggressive there at the end. Roger Chapman says, watching Terrion in action, it's almost like he often runs the wide receiver route for them. Good point, man. That just tells you how close he is, to his mirror match, right? Staying in phase. Donovan Amos, they're going to break out. Just look at Deron Bland, Devin Witherspoon, Brian Branch, Trent McDuffie. Spot on, Donovan. Spot on. Lazy Link says, we need Broderick Martin to be in the rotation this year. Would that speak volumes for the Manu pick? Oh, they're great point, man. You guys are on it. Let's see here. JDC, the Tim lives in a van down by the river. What? Casey, Greg is Howard Cosell's nephew, so sports media legacy. There you go. Andrew Drost, for Edge, you have Houston, Davenport, Betts, Pascal, going to be a solid group if healthy. I'm glad you guys all have some confidence in here, man. We got some confidence in this group. I love it. So cornerback, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Missouri, round 2, number 61 overall. Cosell's take here. Rakestraw is one of those corners whose tape you love to watch because of the way in which he plays with a feisty competitive swagger and attitude, and he never allows his thin frame and less than ideal weight at 183 pounds negatively impact his approach and his physicality, especially evident as a run defender, where he was a physically tough and competitive as a corner in the draft. Sorry, I said that wrong. It was especially evident as a run defender, where he was as physically tough and competitive as any corner in the draft. So what he's saying here is Mr. Rakestraw does not worry about his playing weight. I'm expecting that Rakestraw is going to have to get up in playing weight. I'd like to see him closer to 190. If he can get up to 190, I think, and still have his speed, adding a few pounds would be ideal here. He's 6'2". Last I checked, numbers are kind of all over the place between sites, but 6'2", 183 is pretty lean. Now, as long as he's packed on a lot of muscle in your 185, 190, obviously you're going to look a lot bigger than what you weigh. So the fact that he stays physical, even as a run defender, and that proves that he doesn't have, anything going on in the head. Like, it feels like he's going to get hurt. He's not afraid to make contact. So that's an excellent breakdown there. Rakestraw's 2023 tape showed that could be effective. Let me read that again. Rakestraw's 2023 tape showed that he could be effective on the outside playing press man coverage and off coverage with the athletic traits to be successful in both techniques. Although some teams may see him more as a slot corner, given his lack of desired size for the outside and his short area burst and quickness and willingness and toughness playing the outside or playing the run and his overall high level competitiveness. So another good breakdown on Ennis Rakestraw here, that he will be effective on the outside playing press man coverage and off coverage with the athletic traits to be successful with both techniques. So when you bring in a guy like Arnold, right, we're expecting him to take the press man duties. He'll take the number one or the number two guy more than likely. He'll work his way up to the number one. And then with a guy like Rakestraw, who plays more of the off man coverage, you now can run multiple scheme, within one fitment, for this defense. And I like that, whether you put in Rakestraw, over the slot, if he needed to be, if he can handle the slot, and you play a little bit more off, and you control everything inside that zone. And then you have Arnold that's just going to stay hip to hip with you no matter where you go around the field, and be that press man guy that can earn and win, himself, playing time by being effective. He's going to have a big challenge going up against, Jameson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that's what I love for these guys. You're coming into a team that has pretty darn good wide receivers, and having to go up against them each and every single day is going to make these guys a lot better, a lot quicker. Anyway, to move on here about Rakestraw, he is more than a cover corner and might lead teams to believe slot corner is his better transition. So that just answered my question. Rakestraw has extensive experience playing both outside corner and slot corner. And if teams believe his thin frame presents an issue outside, then he can be deployed in the slot with the needed athletic and competitive traits to succeed there at the next level. The slot's not easy to play. Some people view the slot as an easier position to play, and it's really not. I would say you almost need to be quicker, shiftier hips, more fluid hips inside as a slot than you do on the outside. Keep in mind that Denzel Ward came out of Ohio State with the same height, weight measurables as Rakestraw. That's a phenomenal comparison. The difference being that Ward's overall athletic testing numbers, including a 4.32 40-yard dash, were clearly better than Rakestraw's. Rakestraw consistently played press man on the outside at a high level with patience and discipline, balance and body control, and hip fluidity to open and match the receiver's release at times, using his plus arm length to jam and disrupt. So one thing about these guys, man, they have the arm length. You guys know how I am with arms. They've got to be long. And these guys have long arms, big wingspan. The more I watched Rakestraw's tape, the more I liked him, especially given his high level competitiveness and mental toughness. So phenomenal work up here on Rakestraw. It sounds like we're getting a guy that, can manage multiple positions. He can come in, as a slot guy if the Lions feel that, maybe the outside is not for him because of his playing weight. But that means he's going to have the traits to do it, right? He's got to have the quick feet, the suddenness. He's got to be able to stick with guys coming across the middle. He's got to be able to take on tight ends, which obviously are going to be much bigger than him. But it's just all about winning at the football, right? At the point of attack, you've got to be able to win. And Rakestraw possesses, very good ability. Obviously, with his consistent play and press man, on the outside and on the inside at a very high level, his patience and discipline is what's going to help him to excel at the next level. He's got to stay patient, right? He's got to stay disciplined. And he just has to take his time, not get frustrated, not get ahead of himself. But balance and body control, those are two things that are very difficult to do. And if you watch Terry and Arnold's tape and Rakestraw's tape, there's a few plays that, like, Tyrion was kind of running sideways and then turned around, and he had his one hand kind of on the guy a little bit and reached up and swatted the ball away, all while staying under control. And I thought for sure he was going to fall down and get a flag, but he didn't. And Rakestraw, he also possesses some of those same abilities where he can put his body in certain weird, orchestration and stay under control. And that's very difficult to do. So I'm excited to see this kid. I can't wait to see how both of them do on the back end of this defense and how much better our defensive line should be able to play. Last guy, what do you guys got to say here on Rakestraw? JDC says it will be a rock'em sock'em season in the black and blue division this year. I'm going to go blue and black division this year. Blue always first, always number one. But I hear you, black and blue. Bucky says, yeah, I for some reason I keep saying anus instead of Ennis or Enos. It's just the way the word is, man. I'm gonna have to say it like 10 times a day, so I don't say it. It's funny, but it's not intentional. Wayne Rogers says both are hard-nosed physical players. They will be fun to watch. Donovan Amos says I watched Ennis, his tape. He's good at tackling, a good tackling corner, good coverage. They have to work on his ball tracking. All right. We should probably get you out there this summer, Donovan. Let's get you out there. Tell these guys what's up. King SJ, good morning from Toronto. How you doing out there today? Don't be throwing me any Celsius temperatures today. I get that mixed up, man. Mike P says Ennis will allow us to use Branch at safety if needed. Good call. That was a big call of mine, and I don't know if it's going to happen, right? I have no idea if it's going to happen. But we brought in corners, right? So Brian Branch doesn't have to play nickel. Matter of fact, you got Amik Robertson, which was another person that I tried to explain to everybody that he's more of that slot nickel guy. He can play the outside. And Carlton Davis obviously plays the outside really well. Left corner typically than right corner. So we have Amik Robertson, which means we don't necessarily need Brian Branch to be up in the box as often. But I guess I would be, I don't know, how do I say it? I would be, I'd be missing his play in the box. Like, I love watching Brian Branch up close to the line. I love his physicalness and the way that, he really sticks with guys. If someone catches a ball on Brian Branch, like, they go down like 2-3 yards tops is what they gain. And he's got some of the lowest yak yards out of any DB in the league. And he was one of the best nickelbacks in the league last year. So I'm expecting a huge second year jump for him. And as Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell both said, they didn't really shove a whole lot down Brian Branch's throat. Like, there was a lot for him to learn, in his first season. So they focused on nickel. And this year, they're going to throw him into the more of the safety position, is what they'd said about 3-4 weeks ago, actually, that he's going to get more time learning the rest of the positions because they need that positional villain, right? The positional versatility. And it'll be fun to watch where Brian Branch ends up. But I do feel confident no matter where he is, he's going to play at a high level. And he's going to do the things that he did last year, and he's only going to get better. Like, this is an extremely fun defensive back room here. It's, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it this year. I really do. I think there's going to be plenty of games where we're going to be talking about Arnold and Branch and Carlton Davis, all night long because of how well they played. And it'll be really fun to watch when this defense shuts down the run and they can't pass, and we start holding teams to, under 250 yards a game. So if we can put it together, we should expect some of those games this year. Really, really tight games. We got some, wide gaps in scoring, maybe a couple of blowouts here or there. It could be a very interesting season for Lions fans. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting real excited here. Manu will score 4 touchdowns. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That would be interesting. Brent says, I expect our secondary to compete this year. No more excuses. All right, so Mekhi Wingo. Let's get on to Mekhi Wingo. Let's see here. Oh, I already got it up. Where is it? There we go. All right. So this is the last one that Cosell reviewed, and I thought it was interesting. So he went from the top 2 picks to then a 6th round pick and picked Mekhi Wingo out over some of the other guys. So Cosell says Wingo may not have the size and length ideally desired in interior defensive line, but there's no question he is a compact and explosive defensive tackle who consistently showed that he could win the leverage game and generate tremendous strength and power with his first step explosiveness. I will tell you this, when Eric Rintamaki and I were at the draft and we watched Wingo and we watched Murphy, you really couldn't tell a big difference between them as far as, when they were doing their exercises, if you want to call them, the skill set or the skill exercises that they were doing. You couldn't, like when they were running through the bags, showing the bend, you really couldn't tell a big difference. Huge motor, very clean, very tight, and tight in a good way. Fluid hips, but tight within, working in and around the bags. I really like both of them. I did not see there was going to be a world where Wingo was going to drop this far. Like I had no idea, of this even being a possibility. So anyway, Wingo, with his lack of desired size and length, best projects to the next level as a 3 technique. It's kind of what I alluded to the other night. 1 gap disruptor with his explosiveness off the ball and his short stroke confined space power and his reactive athleticism and his combination of lateral quickness and speed to power conversion as a pass rusher. What consistently stood out when Wingo was at his best was that he was a sudden gap shooter with a disruptive quality to his game. Undersized 1 gap defensive tackle disruptors have a place in the NFL. And Wingo fits that profile, especially as a pass rusher with both a sudden quickness dimension and enough speed to power generation to work the edges of guards and drive through them with velocity. So here's what I love about Wingo. And I think this is what we're going to see. Wingo more than likely is going to end up on the outside right side of DJ Reader, is what I'm thinking. He might play the other side as well. He could play alongside DJ Reader. He could play alongside Aleem McNeil. Well, let's imagine a big man front for a minute. Let's just say you keep Aiden in. You got Aleem in. You got DJ Reader in. And then you got Mekhi Wingo. And those four men are down. And let's say Matu Betts makes it or James Houston, one of those 2 guys as your outside linebacker. So now you have a speedy pass rusher on the outside right. You have a pretty fast, Aiden's not the fastest, but he's still pretty fast, pass rusher on the left that doesn't need to get home. He doesn't have to. He just has to bottle guys up. And they want to shift the line, let's say, to the left. And Reader and Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson, they all, chop wood to the left, right? And now Mekhi Wingo, with his first step explosiveness, finds that gap on the inside left shoulder of the tackle and the outside left shoulder of the guard. That's his gap. He shoots that gap, and now James Houston has got a free run at the quarterback. The only person that's going to end up either making contact with him is a running back or a tight end if they're coming across a line, backside blocking down the line and chipping. But you're not going to be able to keep these guys out of the backfield. There's no way. DJ Reader takes up double teams. Aleem McNeil takes up double teams. They've learned to play the gap and a half, gap scheme last year, stepping it up from a 1 gap scheme. And now you're bringing in a single gap shooter that excels at those things. He's going to be a little bit slippery with his size. He's going to be, in my opinion, he's going to be at perfect pad level. He's going to be able to get up underneath these guys' pads and be able to drive them back or off the side and be able to drive them down the line, which makes more room for that outside pass rusher. So this is a perfect fit on this team for a team that, went out and went hard to bring in a defensive tackle to really elevate our defensive line play. We've got a whole stack of defensive ends and pass rushers now. Someone's just got to make the team. We're pretty loaded. Do we have that next, Danielle Hunter? No. Do we have that speedy Chop Robinson? No. But what we do have is a collective group of guys that are, almost all of them are tweeners, right? James Houston could be a linebacker because of his body size, but he's not fast enough. So he's quick, but he's not, fast. Has no real good coverage, ability, or not real good coverage ability. So he really doesn't project as a linebacker, but he's just a pass rusher. He's just a specialist, in my opinion. Hopefully they use him as a specialist, even though they wanted him to transition to more of a 3-down pass rusher linebacker. But Josh Paschal, he's got to take the huge step this year. He's that tweener. He's the guy that can play outside, off the outside shoulder of the tackle and inside, inside the other gap. And I like where his body projects and his toughness. He's entering, season 3. I hope that he takes that next step of staying healthy and finally produces this season, because it's going to be tough to figure out who you really want in. All of these guys do different things. And I think when you're going up against different kinds of teams, different offensive skill sets and identities and schemes, you're going to see guys kind of in and out this year, like more of a rotation, probably more of a game rotation as far as who's dressing and who's not, especially if they keep a few extra guys this year on the defensive line itself. So, look, I love the fact that we got Wingo. I thought this was an absolute steal. Cosell, man, I need to see the rest of your breakdown because that was excellent. Really good stuff here. So at the end of the day, how do you guys feel right now about where this Lions team is headed? Where the city of Detroit is headed, man. I think I've got to say it again. What an amazing show of solidarity and unity for the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit, Detroit Lions fans. Not only smashing the record, but when you look at all of the years over the last 10 years or so, they averaged probably 250,000 people for the entire weekend. That's it. Nashville was the exception to the rule. Nashville doubled up the average with 600,000. And we just crushed it with 175,000 more. So when you look at the average that's gone on in the NFL for the draft, we tripled it. If they average 250, we tripled it at 775. So I didn't hear of any issues at all weekend. Didn't see any issues at all weekend. Well-behaved crowds. Everyone did an excellent job. I had a funny story. So I parked in a different area than I normally park in on Saturday. I normally park, the Detroit Lions garage or lot 5. That's where I love to park. And it's a great central point to be able to get wherever you want to go. Well, I was driving in from the hotel that morning and I decided to park somewhere different. It was some Wayne lot off Bagley and Cass. So I'm like, okay, I'm not familiar with this area. I don't really, hopefully I can take, one of the scooters and get downtown. Well, that's what screwed me up. So anyway, I parked, took a picture of where I'm at, dropped the pin, and then I jumped on a scooter. Well, as soon as I started getting downtown, the scooter shut off. And next thing you know, there's like a red X on my scooter. And it said that I was in a no zone, like a no-go zone. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm far away from everything. And so then I had to walk the thing uphill, down like 3 blocks. It still wouldn't turn on. That's what got me screwed up. So I got I guess I wasn't situationally aware at that point. So long story short, the next day or that next day, afternoon, I had to go find my truck. Phone died. Just went from 100% to 0. Wasn't even on my phone really. And it went from 100% to 0. And I walked probably 14 miles around the theater multiple times through the theater, multiple times trying to find my vehicle. So thank you to the police officer that I ended up speaking with that helped me get directions to finally get me back on track. They offered me a ride, but I'm like, yeah, no, I'll stay out of the back seat today. I'll continue to walk. But anyway, Detroit police, more than helpful, did an excellent job that weekend too. So got my steps in, to say the least. Finally found my vehicle, and man, I was exhausted. Long day on the feet. All right, what do we got going on here in the chat for the next? We'll be on for a couple more minutes. It's just after 9 o'clock today. Don't forget, we'll be having Manu's recruiter on at some point. I'm not going to release his name or anything yet until we lock it all in. And Giovanni Manu hopefully will also be joining the podcast here soon. No timetable. Obviously, I'm not going to rush anything. You know, if they say jump, I'll jump. We'll make it happen. Super excited to have these guys on. We want to bring you guys a lot of players this year. Like the Billy Sims interview, man, that was a year in the making. It was around this time last year that I started working with his team to try to get something done. And it just so happened, you know, that I had an opportunity to meet with them where they were doing autographs. And he said, hey, Sunday, come on in, do it. Well, I wasn't planning on being in Detroit on Sunday. So I drove back Saturday night. We had the opportunity to sit down with Billy Sims. I got to taste all the food, and it was a good time. It was a real good time. And I can't thank Eric Rittamaki enough. He obviously had to go home that day too, but, he helped me set up, get everything unpacked, and be part of the journey and be part of the show that day. So I can't thank him enough for all of his help. All right, let's see here. Peter Van Larhoven, thanks for the cap update. I was wondering where we were. Anyone wonder if we will also extend Decker to open up more cap space? So, Peter, that's a great question. There has been conversations with Taylor Decker that have been ongoing now, I think, for the past month. About 6 weeks ago or so, someone had said that we were going to trade Decker. I said that's not happening. We're not trading Decker, not in the last season of his contract, not with, trying to keep this offensive line together. That would be a critical mistake. So just thinking about it logistically, I said that, the Lions are more than likely to extend Decker for two reasons. One, you got Graham here for 3 seasons. So extending Decker probably 2 more seasons past this year makes sense, number one. Number two, taking that $19 million cap hit, turning it into a bonus and extending him 2 more seasons makes a ton of sense. You can probably take that cap hit of 19 million, get it south of 10 million, save yourself, about 9 million in cap space this year. And I'm just speaking out loud. I'm not looking at, all the cap situation or his numbers, because there could be some bonuses and some other things in there that make that number not work as well. But that's what you could potentially do. So just, you know what, let's just pull it up. So just by extending Decker, even 1 season would significantly reduce the Lions cap liabilities for this year. And I think that number was close to 5 million. All right, so Taylor Decker, let's we'll roll through this together real quick. By the way, if you guys have not visited Foco.com, Foco.com is, one of the makers of bobbleheads, and Terrion Arnold's pick bobblehead is now up. So I figured I'd share that with you guys this morning. Make sure you get it because it's on pre-order right now. If that's something that interests you, they also have the playoff bobbleheads. Those are going quick, all on pre-order. So if those are things that interest you, you better get it quick because they will be gone within a matter of 72 hours. I promise you. All right. So when we look at Taylor Decker's number here, he's signed through 2024. He has a $19.1 million cap hit. If they were to cut him pre-June 1, which is not going to happen, we'd save $9.3 million. So how can you save $9.3 million by not cutting him? Well, I think it can work a little bit like this. We'll walk through it together. Let's say you extend him just 1 season through 2025. So now you take the void year out. The bonus money, the prorated bonus here, you've got $4.5 million. if you convert that 12.95, where's his guarantee at? His guarantee is only 500,000. So you take that 4.5 million, maybe you call it 10 million, you turn it into a signing bonus. Instead of paying him 19 million this year and next year, maybe you pay him 30 million for both seasons, so 15 million a year. So you give him an $11 million increase or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. You could effectively reduce his cap hit quite a bit here. By adding a void here. You know what? Let me see if I can just do it real quick. This will make it easier. So let's add on 1 year. Void years will go 1. I don't like that they keep all of this stuff in here. Like, I would want to change that. So he's only guaranteed 500,000 for this year. So if they cut him, yeah, obviously they're going to be out the bonus money, which is right here. This prorated bonus is what he's owed plus this 500,000. So if you were to change, I wish I could change all these numbers. It's not going to let me. That's dumb. But let's just say you convert it to 10 million. Yeah, I can't change. Oh, I can change these numbers. Here we go. And you've got them signed through 20. I'm just gonna put some numbers in here to see what happens, because it's being funny. So you're paying 5 million base every year. You got the prorated bonus. I can't really change this. Guarantee, let's just call it 25, 2.5, 1.5, 0. Or we'll go 500K. Non-prorated bonus, we'll do 500K. Like workout bonuses, medical bonuses, whatever. It's not letting me change this stuff that's already in here, but let's say you change this to 2.5 million. 5 million in a void year. You're going to guarantee him a $10 million signing bonus. I mean, you could even up that a little bit. So you take that $19 million cap hit and you bring it down to 11. So you save yourself 8 million. And then next year he's going to get 11.9. And the year after that, he get 8 million. I think that would be, that's close to 30 million there, right? It's close to 30 million. So there's a pretty simple way that you can get that done and save him a lot of cap hit this year. So Elizabeth LaValle, I did send out emails to you based on the email that you sent. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull you up. Where is it at? So the email should have come from fanatics.com, obviously. I got to check my inbox to find the receipt from it. But fanatics.com is the one that put it all together. So if you didn't get anything, then I'm going to have to call them today and make sure that gift card is canceled so that it didn't go to a wrong inbox, because they're the ones that had to reconfigure everything because the account kept coming back as fraud. They had a lot of issues that we had to get cleared up. It wasn't just me. There was other people that were dealing with it too. I'm just trying to find the email here. I'll do it off the show this morning. But you have my email, so go ahead and email me again this morning, info@rockdownpodcastnetwork.com. And then I will reach out to Fanatics right away as soon as I get off here and make sure that we get that gift card canceled. Everybody else received theirs. So hopefully yours is just sitting in your spam folder or something, but it should be an email from fanatics.com that'll have the gift card in there. When do jersey numbers come out for the rookies? Anyone know? I really don't know that answer, Tracy. Obviously, they look at, what numbers are available right now, and they might have a choice or an option of what's available right now. If there's a number that they really want, there would have to be, some negotiations. But I already seen Terry and Arnold took number 1. And that jersey was already up for sale. So maybe he already took number 1. Otherwise, if the Lions went ahead and sold that jersey without him taking number 1, I don't know if that would have been a smart play, because if the number changes, then I think a lot of people are going to be upset. So I would assume that Terry and Arnold's number 1. And that kind of coincides with what the DBs have been doing, taking lower numbers, which is kind of cool, actually. I'm glad that they're taking some lower numbers. It would be real sweet if they went, all in a row. They're all, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up as far as they can go. But we know, Jared Goff's at 16 and Hendon Hooker's at 12. So anything below 12 obviously would fit the DBs then. We usually keep about 10. What else? Oh, no problem, Elizabeth. Well, we'll make sure you get it. But just check your spam folder and make sure that that you've got it in there. Here, you know what? I'll go to Fanatics too. I should have the receipt in there. I got the receipt right here. And your name is definitely on there. I just wanted to check can you send me another email? Because you sent me a couple and they were like weird, like text type emails. And then there was another one that actually had your email address in it. And that's the one that I used. Oh, you know what? ES Valley. Nope, the email's right. It's right inside the order. So I'm not going to say your email over the air here. So just check your spam folder, and if it's still not in there, we'll get it fixed. No problem. Mike B says the Detroit and the Lions showed the rest of the world how great the city can be. Well done, Detroit. And by the way, everyone else that has consolation prizes, I think I got all of everyone's emails now. So the custom chains that were requested, the custom beaded chains, we'll start working on those, and then we'll reach back out. If you didn't already send us your address, please send us an address where we can send it. But we'll start working on those. I just need to get a couple more materials to make sure that we do it all the right way. I want to do something unique with it, but I thought I had one hanging up here. I gave some out to super fans, obviously in San Francisco, and we'll be doing something very similar with those this year. And I'm going to put some up for the Buy Me a Coffee extras. You'll be able to purchase them, and they're all custom made, so they're made to order. We might have a couple, laying around, but I want to make sure that these ones are a little bit different. So I've got to order a few things today that I know that we're missing. Good place to get card decals. So I've had some requests that people want to get my logos and that. Look, I don't mind, if you guys wanted to do something like that. I've never made stickers before. I wouldn't even know where to make stickers, honestly. But as far as decals for the Detroit Lions, I'm on Fanatics right now. And who gets a lot of these is Eric Rintamaki. He gets a lot of different stickers than that. there was a store outside of Ford Field that has some stickers. Pro Sports Zone in Livonia has stickers and decals. But if you look on, I'm on Fanatics right now. I'm trying to find an actual decal. I think I have a couple. Hold on. And also, don't forget, if you guys have not subscribed to Rocked On Podcast Network, please do, because all of the giveaways now are going to, well, most of the giveaways are going to be tied to subscribership. So every 500, we're going to be doing a mini helmet giveaway. So these are the ones that I got. The silver, I don't know, you can kind of see that, the silver lion. This is a window graphic that you can put on a window on your vehicle, wherever. And I bought this at that store that was right across from Ford Field. I'm sure you can find a lot of this stuff online. I'll try to post some links in some future shows. But today, because of our 1 millionth view, I've got a little package that I've put together today. It's going to include a pin. There should be a pin here. I think I got one. I should have a pin of the NFL draft and a couple of other little knickknack items. I'm going to put a little package together, and someone from today's chat is going to get picked out after the show. And then when I figure out who that is, I will be sending them this little package to say thank you for being part of the millionth view episode. I'm excited, man. This channel's come a long way, and it's been a year, really, since I did my first episodes. So I started early April. It was right after I had the cancer removed and surgery. I started talking to help rehabilitate, the vocal cords and everything, and then it just kind of did nothing. I mean, we kept showing up, kept doing it, but I wasn't doing it the right way. And it was basically October of last year that we finally popped. So 6 months, really 6 months, 1 million views is what we did, which is pretty good for a YouTube channel. I'm proud of it. I'm happy we've come a long way, but we're just scratching the surface now. We want to keep moving forward. And with your help, we'll do that. And the way that you guys can help us is simply just liking the stream, sharing the stream, subscribing to the channel, whether you turn on notifications or not, that's up to you. And just be part of it, man. Just help us, help us out that way. Obviously, my channel is a little bit different than others. We like to give back to the fans, and more often, because that's what we're about, is Lions fans, and making sure that you guys get the up-to-date information, as well as player interviews, coach interviews, and we're trying to do a lot of different things here. It's a work in progress, just like everything else in life. And we're going to keep working and take your advice too on how we can get better. So that's it for today's episode of the Rise and Grind Morning Show. I know I went way over the 9 o'clock hour. So Mondays and Fridays, I'm planning 2-hour shows. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I'm planning 1-hour shows. And then as we start working things out with some of the other people that are, joining Rocked On Podcast Network and doing some segments or doing some shows, we might end up having some other guys doing shows for this channel that'll be part of this channel on their own. And hopefully you guys will support them just like you have supported me. Give them a shot. Everyone's new at doing this type of stuff, but give them a shot. Different perspectives are great. Different opinions are fun. So appreciate the coffee, Tracy. That's awesome. Mike P says, hey, U of M Dad, how's it going this morning? Ornery U of M Dad says, proud of you. Appreciate it, man. King SJ, congrats. Appreciate it. JDC, the more Lions win, the more Lions stuff will come out. There you go. You got it. Yeah, there you go. So I'm talking about the store that's connected to the parking garage on Brush Street. They got a ton of stuff there. And then Pro Sports Zone in Livonia. They have everything. And I remember seeing stickers in there and decals, but a lot of that stuff is online too. You just got to find the right place. Maybe check out Amazon, but I'll do some research today and I'll start throwing some of that stuff in links in description so you guys can find it. But anyway, that's it for today. That's the Rise and Grind morning show, Monday morning, April 30th, 2024. The draft is officially over. And now we're looking forward to what's next. We've got undrafted free agent videos that will popping out all week. And we'll start with Giovanni Manu today. I think we're doing Isaiah Williams today and probably Isaac Rex today. Those are three, and I'll do Steel Chambers probably tomorrow. But those are three of my top four that I like that the Lions brought in. Isaac Rex, interesting story, but he looks like another Brock Wright to me. Does he make the jump this year fully into the NFL? I don't know. Our tight end room is could use another person. We'll see what happens. So, all right, you guys have a good morning. Make it a great one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And then, of course, tonight, I'm not sure if I'll be on. You just have to look to see if a thumbnail pops. We'll see if I can get all my chores done today. All right, you guys take care. Bye-bye.